I'm having a chat with Cecily Stewart here in Santa Barbara. We are talking about a project of hers. I think we can say it's called Library Dances. It's a new nonprofit that's kind of in the works. There's a process going on, and Library Dances will have its first real kind of public performance at the San Marcos High School Theater, as opposed to library performances. Hello, library dances. We'll talk about that. But a public performance at San Marcos High School Theater coming up on Tuesday and Wednesday. That's coming up May 27th and 28th. 7 p.m. Tickets are $15 and $20. No big deal. And you can buy these tickets, those of you in the Santa Barbara area. The area code is 805-252-1324. And Cecily, you're born and bred in Santa Barbara. It sounds horrible somehow. I don't know. Or beautiful, I'm not sure. but my point is, and guess who else we know? Martha Graham, who was born and raised in Santa Barbara, and me. Among zillions of other creative people, and we live here. It's a fabulously creative community, so we're so lucky to be back. But at a certain point, you gotta take off. You gotta go somewhere and spread your wings a little bit. Tell me the story, because I want to know. In a small town, remember Santa Barbara? It is still a small city. What turned you on to dance as a young kid, and take it from there.
As a second grader, I saw State Street Ballet perform a small outreach, just a little showing of excerpts of Beauty and the Beast. And I just have a very vivid memory of that showing, and sitting there, on the linoleum floor, I knew that that's what I wanted to do. So I started training in ballet at age 8, which is actually quite late. And then I eventually moved out of Santa Barbara to get better training at 16. And I went to Northern California. I ended up getting a job on the East Coast in Richmond, Virginia at 18. And then I moved to New York. I got another job with a different company up there. Moved home after that. I was a little bit disenchanted with the whole idea of being a dancer. It was, it's a really hard lifestyle. But then Rodney offered me a job with State Street Ballet, and I decided to give it another chance. So.
Sweet. And talk about full roundabout.
I was not expecting to come home, but I'm very grateful.
There is something about Rodney Gustafson. I don't know. There's some kind of magic about that man, but I think what you've just described is kind of magical. Being inspired as a kid on the linoleum floor, doing your thing, even reaching a point of just like, oh, I give up. It's too hard. I've had it. Coming home, and Rodney Gustafson, the artistic director and founder of State Street Ballet, says, hey, come on board, let's give it a shot. So how long have you been with State Street Ballet?
I just finished my 5th season with them.
Wow, it's nice. Yeah. And your family's thrilled you're back home, I'm sure.
They were so excited. And I'm excited. I mean, I have a lot of family here, so it's great to be at home.
Now let's go through this collaboration that is involved in putting together what is called Library Dances, and give me the whole thing, the philosophical point of view, the people involved in making it happen, and why. Most importantly, why.
Well, I guess I'll start with the why. I think that in our current culture, there's a lot of video games, and there's a lot of TV, and there's a lot of cell phones. So there's a lot going on visually, but and it's artistic in a graphic sense, but it's not artistic in a live theater sense. And so I think that kids these days really need some other visual, not outlet, but experience that makes things real to them. So they're not stuck to their cell phones all the time, and so they know that you can have that an artistic and emotional interaction with something on stage. So we're trying to create that for them, but in a way that's very specific by using the literature that they'll already read in school, so they're familiar with it, it's accessible, and then creating dance performances out of those books that they've been reading. It's a little bit innovative in the sense that most students haven't seen professional dance or just dance without words. A lot of the kids came to see our performance of Carmen, and over half of them said they'd never seen a dance performance. Yeah. So there's definitely a need, I think, in the community and in the group of students to experience dance and see it, and then they can formulate an opinion about it. But many people just kind of write it off because it's either too expensive or they don't have any experience in it, so they don't know whether or not they like it. So I kind of was drawing from what I see as all these needs on this project to promote literacy by creating dance performances based on the literature they already have to read. So that's kind of the why of it. I approached Rodney with the idea in December during our Nutcracker tour, and he seemed really excited about it. He kind of
Just a
he
little
was very
slow down.
supportive. Sorry.
It'll work. It just something passed over us. So go ahead.
Okay.
You approached Rodney on tour. That was evil.
Yeah. Well, I just had to get an answer because I had a conversation with David Holmes as well at San Marcos High School, and he was really excited about the idea of bringing dance in.
And he is the just to let everybody know, he is the director of theater, retiring in whatever days at this point.
Yeah.
Did a terrific production of Les Miserables. I mean, really, the guy's going out with flames and fireworks.
Definitely, yeah, and he's doing Rocky Horror Picture Show in June. It's all his alumni. It's gonna be great. But so I got into contact with him, and he was really excited, and he agrees with me that the school system and the theater departments really are missing dance as part of theater, because it is a big part, especially musical theater. So he wanted to bring that in, and actually he hired me to choreograph Les Mis, so it kind of got all mixed up in there, and then I ended up working with the kids, which was great because I got to know them and know their strengths and how they learn and how they work.
Yeah.
So that was really fun. And then the other big player in this kind of collaboration is Art Without Limits, who Julie McLeod is their founder, and I worked with her at 13.
She's the grande dame in Santa Barbara. I've known her since at probably high school.
Yeah, so she helped me with one of my first pieces of choreography in the Teen Choreographer Showcase at 13. And then I came back and I knew that I was going to need help with this project. It's a huge project. So I went to her and she was like, well, do you want a mentorship? And I said, yes. So she's been mentoring me, and also she's been our fiscal sponsor. So that's kind of the crew, as well as all the dancers from State Street Ballet who've been absolutely incredible and just above and beyond, helping out at private events and doing that library showing for free, and just a lot of things that they've been doing that are really great.
It's called collegial, but let's not push that too far with your pals. But people in the arts helping one another, professional colleagues. It's wonderful. Let's talk a little bit, because I haven't mentioned them yet, the two stories that you have chosen and why. One is very, very obvious: A Midsummer Night's Dream, the ballets and symphonies, and and I presume you're using Mendelssohn's music.
I am, yes.
And then The Gift of the Magi. I love that story. It's so American, really. And but you'll have to tell me more about that. Go ahead. Tell me about these two stories you're going to dance to.
Well, Midsummer's was an easy choice because there is a score. So I wanted to do something that was, not too innovative to the point that I could just take the music and choreograph to it. But the other reason I chose it is I think that high schoolers will really relate to that kind of back and forth relationship. He loves me, he doesn't love me, love triangle. There's a lot of that, and it's funny. The players are funny, and you can do a lot with the comedy of it. So I wanted to do something that's relatable for them. And then Gift of the Magi, actually, I chose because I asked the English teachers at San Marcos what the kids were reading, and that was one of the books on the list. So I really am trying to stay true to what they're reading. And it's a really sweet story, and I think it lends itself well to dance, but I also happened to find some music that I thought would play into that really nicely. So got all those inspirations. And
come on, I'm the musician. Tell me, what's the music? It's driving me crazy.
Jan Tiersen.
Help. A little more.
That's pretty much all I know about him is his name. He did the music for Amélie as well, the movie. So lots of French-sounding music, but a lot of it is piano. It's very simple and kind of classic. Real different sound than Midsummer's, which is nice.
And that suits that very intimate story. Really, it's a very intimate story. Yeah. Okay, well, so we have that. I see that you already have given me a whole bunch of information. In other words, about going to the English departments. I was trying to get a lock on how this is going to work.
And that was really through David Holmes. I asked him, can you find out for me what the reading list kind of looks like for this year? And so the beauty of this project is it really, the options are endless because kids are always reading different stories and different short stories and different novels. So we can really create a ballet on whatever we want. And that's what I like about the project, is the idea that you could actually come up with a series of dances, and then you'd have a library of dances that you've created and you can take to schools based on whatever they're studying that semester.
Yeah. Well, you just gave away the big secret of the grand plan. That is the grand plan. You put together a repertory of dances to these kind of books that kids are reading in high school, and you take it around. That is missionary work. Let me tell you, that's great. But here's the thing. First of all, it's a double whammy. Okay. First, how did these theater kids respond to you? Now, you cheated already. You had them in Les Miserables, so they became pals. They weren't so intimidated. But that, and then the other thing is, I still, somehow, library dances, I still want to hear some words. Your turn.
Okay. How did the kids respond? I think the first day that I went in and tried to get them to roll over their shoulders backwards, they were a little bit taken aback. But we have ended up having such a good time together. And a lot of it has actually been about building their confidence, because many people, and I think this is true for adults too, have it in their brains that they are not a good dancer. And so then they don't want to get out and try it. But when you get everyone from the crew kids, that are up in the light, usually doing the lights and the curtain and all that,
who are not dancers for sure, except they're dancing around on those ropes and up there in the rafters. It's crazy.
But not used to being on stage or in front of people. And you get the costumers, and you get everyone, all the actors too, out on stage, and they're all kind of leveled out because they're all trying to do the same step. It's been a really unifying experience, I think, for the whole play production class. So that was really neat to watch them supporting each other and clapping for each other and enjoying that together. And then also building their confidence in that. But yeah, they've responded. I think they didn't quite know what to think too when I bring the professional dancers in, which today was their first day all together. And I'm sure that it is not what they thought it was going to be, because many people don't know that the extent of professional dance and how technical it is, but also, I brought the guys in and they're jumping around and doing tricks, and, they're very manly and strong, and that's not really the reputation that ballet has. Yeah.
So you shattered a few stereotypes, thankfully.
Yeah? I hope so.
Yeah, I would think so.
I hope so.
And it is a very athletic art form, like duh. But kids don't know that. They're packed full of stereotypes. So that's very interesting.
Yeah, so that's been really fun. And I've got right now, I think about 16 that are going to perform in the show.
Yeah.
16 kids.
Okay, I have to ask the question. You know it's coming. How many boys?
How many boys? 1, 2, 3.
Ooh, it's already 3. Yeah. That's good. That's good.
It might be 4. Yeah.
That's beating the odds. That's beating the odds,
Yeah, it's great. I mean, they're great kids, and they're really are willing to try anything once. So.
And then my only badgering question is, it seems like there needs to be something a little more about the written word, as in library dances.
Yeah, I thought about doing something where the music is overlaid with readings of it, or even where we projected certain lines behind the dancers. And at this point, I wasn't ready to add that layer in. And I think it could happen in the future, but because right now I'm doing most of the production work in terms of costuming and choreographing and, finding props and all that stuff, I was not ready to take that extra layer on. So potentially, if it grows, we could add that in, but not at this
And it makes it just one bit busier anyway from a visual oral point
I do
of view.
sometimes
So
find it distracting from the dance. And I think if you're willing to come and see, I think you'll know the story by what you see on stage.
Aha. Okay, very good. Let's go through the goodies. I think we're done. Let's go through the real important details here. Library dances. I'm speaking with Cecily Stewart, founder of Library Dances, dancer with State Street Ballet, Santa Barbara person, back to do good works in the community, if I may sound so corny. Library Dances at San Marcos High School Theater next Tuesday and Wednesday. That's coming up, the 27th of May, the 28th of May, 7 p.m. You can go right up to the door and buy a ticket. They're $15, $20. Telephone number, though, just to get some more information and whatnot about these performances at San Marcos High, 252 in the area code 805, 252 1324. And the whole idea is a collaboration between professional dancers of State Street Ballet, Cecily functioning as choreographer and chief cook and bottle washer as always, as with founders, but also with the San Marcos High School theater department, helping these kids to be more expressive, more open, and they are going to all dance together to the stories of A Midsummer Night's Dream and The Gift of the Magi. So this is really wonderful. This is a pilot program, as you make very clear. So I hope all goes well, and I think I helped you a little bit and put something out, and already got quite a few. Tell me where to go for tickets. That kind of thing. So,
great.
Anyway, Cecily, very sweet talking with you,
Thank you too.
Good luck. I'm going to see if I can possibly get out there next Tuesday or Wednesday.
I'm
curious. I just want to see.
Yeah, I'd love to see you. You will be entertained. I promise you that.
All right. Thanks much. Let me do the plug. We're done. Thank you. There we go.